Hello and welcome to Voices of SUP. My name is Beau Nixon. I'm going to be presenting a series of videos talking to some inspirational people in the SUP community. Now, these videos are going to be split into two different parts. First part is available for all of the free viewers out there. You'll be able to learn some insights into our Voices of SUP and their lives. And the second part is going to be only available to the pro subscribers on SUPboarder Mag. Now, the pro subscriber is going to be able to unlock lots of technique tips and lots of insights to help you on the water. So if you're not a subscriber, I would suggest you head over to supboardermag.com, get yourself on the subscription list. It's only £2.99 per month, and you'll be able to access the extended version. But let's get into introducing our guest today. He is a very special guest, an absolute inspiration to many people around the world, and he's already achieved so much already in this sport. He is a 6-time World SUP champion, the current overall world champion on the APP World Tour for both sprint racing and the marathon distance racing, a 7-time national Danish champion, 2-time Red Bull heavy water champion. He's the vice president of the International Surfing Association, a global ambassador for our sport, a generally all-round amazing person. Let's find out more about our Voice of SUP today and some insights into his life. Please welcome the Viking, Casper Steinfath.
When you list all those titles and fancy titles, it doesn't make sense. Is that me? But if I had to describe myself, I'm just another water happy person that's living in the cold, harsh northern latitudes of Europe, and really enjoying stand-up paddling. That's a person that I am.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that you enjoy the sport. And how did it become that you enjoy it so much and that you've dedicated your life to being on the water, to be an advocate of the sport of stand-up paddle?
Well, I think it's just very natural for me. I grew up in Denmark on the west coast of the Danish kingdom, and my mom being Danish and my dad being American, he was a very vivid surfer and still is. He kind of just passed on, that whole thing about playing in the water. He passed that on to my brother and I, and we kind of ran with it. We became obsessed with water as a surfer, but then stand-up paddling came into the picture, and I think it hit home base with me, and I really enjoyed the freedom of being out on the water and being able to paddle up and down the local coast at first, but then quickly I realized, hey, I can take this all around the world and use it as a means of exploration to see the world. So that became, as a teenager, that became my deep fascination. And I guess here I am 12 years later, still a complete addict to paddling on the water.
Just touching on a bit of where SUP's taken you, do you feel like the sport is moving toward a more adventure touring side in the kind of coming years, or where do you see the sport going?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be part of the sport for quite some years now, and this thing we call the sport, that's kind of, you used to be an elite athlete as well. Remember, we competed a lot together, and we've seen that side of the sport, but what really is happening now, in my opinion, is the adventure aspect is coming into the game, where I think a lot of people have realized that stand-up paddling is essentially the bicycle of the ocean, and you can really go paddle in all these incredible destinations, even though you're not, say, a world champion or a world-class athlete. It's just stand-up paddling can open up for so many adventures around the world, and we're going to see more and more of that in the future.
I took a dive into a couple of your films in the last few days, actually. It was really cool to see, especially the Skagerrak film. Let's talk about some of the most challenging times during that, and maybe also in your career and in your life. How do you overcome adversity in those times?
That's a big question, Beau. I think, adversity, I think we all face it at some point in our lives. And for me, like as a small kid, I actually had a a phobia, or let's call it a fear of water. I was afraid of getting my head underwater when I was like until I was like 8 or 9 years old, and then actually it was actually my desire to go surfing that helped me overcome the fear. In the same way that when I a few years ago tried to paddle across the Skagerrak Strait on a stand-up paddleboard between Denmark and Norway, there was a lot of things that were against me. But I think it's part of the human DNA in a sense to we want to push ourselves. Like, we may not all be aware of it, but we want to progress and like improve our abilities. And I've always found that very fascinating to jump into the pool on the deep end sometimes, and just like learn how to swim while I'm drowning, so to say. But I think Skagerrak, and I'm really excited about having the film on Red Bull TV now, and anyone can watch it. It gives me a lot of it makes a lot of people actually write me with stories from their life, and that's one thing that I feel is really interesting, is that we all have a desire for adventure deep inside of us, and hopefully we can help each other push ourselves into doing some of the things we dream of.
And obviously, people get in contact with you because you are such an inspiration to many, including myself. You you really, no, you really are, and you really seem to enjoy every single moment in life, and that shows just through your dedication, your determination, just how you connect with people. And what is Casper's message? What are you trying to convey to the world?
I don't really know. Like, to be honest, I don't think I'm really focused on a message I want to convey. I'd rather my focus in life is just to play through it, like to be on the water having fun, to be engaged in the projects that I like doing, to be learning new stuff. Like, when people ask me that question of what do I want to convey, like, I don't like the concept of preaching. I don't like the concept of telling this is the right way or this is the wrong way to live your life. I just know that for me, I've found a huge happiness in this playful approach where like, of course I'm a professional athlete, but deep down I'm just a surfer that wants to be on the water, in the the good waves when the waves are there. And that's kind of the thing where I kind of want to just be able to have a lifestyle that allows me the freedom to be where I want to be when I want to be there. There's some key messages that I've found meaningful, which also is not being afraid to jump into something that might seem scary, and being accepting that sometimes we fail as humans, and sometimes things don't go as planned, but at the end it makes us stronger. Like if you watch the Skagerrak film, you'll quickly see that I completely messed up on my first attempt at crossing that ocean. I was literally 12 kilometers from my destination, and like I felt like, yeah, I got this. And then Mother Nature just gives me the biggest slap straight in the face, and like the current and wind just blows me backwards. And I guess I just realized, like, wow, I failed. I got some work to do. But no, it's about, I think in general it's about keeping a positive approach to life, and like, hey, a failure is just a setback, and we learn from it. That's what makes us human.
Exactly. And I think it's very courageous of you to share that experience, that you can actually learn from failure, and that you shouldn't be scared of failing, because in itself it's a huge lesson learned. On the lighter side, what boards have you been riding? What have you been in the water doing? Are you into foiling, kiting? You're just into everything, it seems. But what's kind of your board of choice at the moment?
Well, it's a strange time right now, and it's kind of strange to be saying this because in Denmark we're on lockdown as well with the Corona crisis, but we're still allowed to go outside and be on the water, unlike other places I know in Europe, for example. But I've been keeping busy with foiling a lot recently. I'm so freaking excited about foiling, where it gets a smile on my face every time I go into the water because I'm learning something and I'm feeling a progression. I'm riding the Nash hoverboard right now with some of the new high aspect foils. Just playing around, trying to find out what gear works in what conditions. And I'm by no means an expert yet, but I'm really having a lot of fun. And then we've had some great downwinds as well recently, where I've been playing around with some of the race boards. The Maliko from Nash is also one of my favorites, and it's just whatever the conditions dictate, I'm out there playing with something that makes it work. So no, I'm trying to keep busy and be on the water, because I think it's easy these days to get distracted by a lot of negative thoughts and the crisis of our lifetime. Some might call it.
It sounds like you have a pretty cool project in the works. I don't know if you could tell me much about it, but you want to start up your own surf SUP foil school. It seems really cool, and I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to come over and do some work with you.
I guess the cat's kind of out of the bag now, but I'm starting a project with some people back here in cold Hawaii, some good friends, where I've always enjoyed, one of the things I've enjoyed is teaching and helping people improve their skills on the water. I do it naturally when I'm surfing or paddling with someone. Like if I see you have a flaw in your technique that's holding you back, like I really get a kick out if I can help you overcome that. So it's an idea I've had for a long time, and I'm planning on doing a quality-based SUP and surf school here in cold Hawaii in Denmark, where we're not just really a surf school. I'd more look at it as like we're guides. Like we're going to focus on taking people on an adventure more than just like teaching them how to stand up and paddle. We want to show you what we like about the area here, and we're going to do some camps and some workshops and some private coaching when I have time and stuff. But it's still in the works. You'll be hearing more in the next weeks. But I'm just kind of excited because it's like I love competing and stuff, but I also really get a kick out of helping other people reach their potential and see. I like seeing other people have fun on the water, and if I can feel that if I was a part of opening that door, that makes me feel really good. It's as simple as that. So there's not a name yet, there's not a website yet, but if you want to come on an adventure in cold Hawaii, I got some good friends, and we'd be stoked to give you the cold Hawaii adventure.
Nice. I'd be up for it. If
yeah,
I'm sure.
Come on over.
It's gonna be fun.
We have some good beer as well. I know that
nice.
In the UK you really like your beer. You're very enthusiastic. We have the best brew house in Denmark nearby.
Perfect. That's a good sales point. A lot of people are going to be keen for that. They'll be there in a heartbeat.
We're not so different.
No,
UK and Denmark.
Before we go, Casper, I've got a few questions, but we're just going to get some one word answers from you. It's what we're going to call the sprint round.
The sprint round.
So you're going to have, one word answer. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Let's kick it off. First one board setup for the rest of your life. SUP, surf, race, downwind, foil, kite, whatever. Which one would you choose?
SUP.
SUP. Best place to SUP?
Iceland.
Iceland.
Yes.
Let's dive into that a bit more. Why is that?
Yeah, it's so powerful up there. Anywhere cold essentially, but glaciers, volcanoes, orcas, whales.
That's
it's just
cool.
it's full on.
Oh, nice. So it leads me to next question: hot or cold water?
Cold water.
Cold water, for sure. Okay, nice. Who inspires you?
Robbie Nash.
Nice. Best person to SUP with?
I hate these on the spot questions. Connor Baxter.
He just pushes you? He's a good friend?
He makes me laugh.
Nice, nice. That's a good answer. Nice. What's your ideal wave size for surfing?
Head high.
Nice. And what's your favorite race that you've been to?
Paris Crossing.
Paris Crossing. Nice.
You wake up dead early. It sucks. It's dark. It's cold. There's 1,000 people on the water with you. You finish the race. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. You have a croissant. Your day is perfect already then.
That's true. So true. You've done everything before 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very cool. And maybe just 3 words for everyone out there on just how to overcome the current climate.
You know, we have to be strong individually and do what is right. You know, I think it's accept that it's a hard time, accept that we're not able to do a lot of the things we normally do, but also know that we're going to come out of it stronger. And, you know, we will be back. It's just maybe take the time now to do some of the things that we otherwise wouldn't do. I can only say I can strongly advise towards gardening, setting small seeds in the ground, watching small flowers start growing up. I've never had the time or maybe the ability or desire to do that before. But this crisis made me do it, and I'm really happy for it in that sense. So all I can say is try to spin it to something positive, do something you couldn't do before. And before you know it, we'll be back out on the water.
What do you think's next for you? I feel like there's more adventures coming.
I don't know what the future holds, but I know that I've been competing for nearly 12 years now as a stand-up paddle racer professionally, and I've really loved every second of it. It's also been, you know, hard at times, traveling a lot and, you know, living in a suitcase for sometimes up to 9 months of a year. It's a lifestyle I've enjoyed, but I also enjoy other things. And, you know, I'm not really sure. I'm probably still going to be competing later this year. I am definitely going to compete this year. Next year, you know, we'll see it when we get there, one step at a time. But I know that regardless of what I do, if I continue being a pro athlete or a full-time surf instructor, or I go back to university or something, I still want to be able to get on the water and have fun on the water, because that's what drives me, is adventures out in the element. So I don't know. It's a big question mark. What's going to happen with the life of Casper Steinfath?
I think that's exciting. We'll leave it at that.
To be continued.
To be continued, exactly. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to Casper Steinfath. If you're a pro subscriber, stick around because we've got some really, really interesting content coming your way. We're going to dive into some things about foiling and also some racing techniques and what you can do to train on the water, and you can grab something just from your home and go out and train on the water. So really interesting stuff. Stick around. If you're not a pro subscriber, head over to SUPboarder mag, get yourself on that list so you can access that extended video.